Hey everyone, this is Chancellor D here with my friend Dani.
Hi everybody.
And we are doing a review ranking of 6 of the most recent trailers in fandom right now.
Yes, and we're real excited. We don't know how the other person ranked the trailers, so we're going to just basically rank it by, our most anticipated, what made us the most excited, what we're most looking forward to.
Okay.
So let's start off at number 6. So what was your 6th most anticipated trailer out of the 6 that we got?
Barbie.
Okay, mine was Blue Beetle.
Okay,
why did you choose Barbie?
So I like Barbie. I like the character, and as a kid, did play with Barbies. There was no thing about gender, but it's like, okay, this is cool, but it's not my top on the list. But I like it. I've liked the trailers. I think it's very funny because it's they're toys, and I just thought about this before we start recording. Like, oh, this is like live action Toy Story.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's fun, but it's not on my I must see opening weekend.
Gotcha.
But I do want to watch it.
Gotcha. Okay. So I chose Blue Beetle, and I just want to start by saying I'm actually really excited for all 6 trailers, and I'll be seeing all 6 opening weekend. It's just somebody had to be last, and unfortunately it was Blue Beetle. So for me, what made me put Blue Beetle last was, some of these trailers are part of larger franchises, so I'm already more invested in the stories. So, like Secret Invasion, that's part of the MCU. I follow everything MCU. Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, I love the first one, so to me that is going to take priority over Blue Beetle. I consider Barbie an icon. I'm slowly getting into the Star Wars fandom, and Indiana Jones is also, to me, an iconic character. So for those reasons, even though I actually really enjoyed the Blue Beetle trailer, it had to come in number 6. I did want to say, some of the things that I really enjoyed about the Blue Beetle trailer was I loved the family aspect that was going on in the trailer. It kind of reminded me of Miss Marvel, and I really enjoyed Miss Marvel, and a big reason I enjoyed it was because of her family. So I thought the family looked fun. They looked like they supported Jaime. I love the fact that they know from day one that he is a hero. I'm kind of over the trope where it's a big secret, and your family doesn't know what's going on. They know something's wrong, but they don't know what. So I'm happy that it's just out in the open. There's no lying about what's happening. And it looks like, the actor who plays Jaime, he is also in, what's it called? Karate Kid?
Cobra
Kai, yeah. So he's in Cobra Kai, so he already knows martial arts. So I could tell that it looks like there's going to be really good action scenes. So even though, like I said, everything looked great, it's number 6 for me.
Okay, and what was your number 5?
So my number 5, you're going to kill me, it's Ahsoka.
Okay.
What's yours?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, why is that your number 5?
So, I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Unfortunately, I did not get to go see it in movie theaters like everybody else. I got to watch it when I got my DVD Blu-ray copy. And I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed us sitting here rewatching the trailers. I'm super invested. I love the shout out to the MCU with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, and I love that what we're seeing. But like what you said about something had to be number 6, something had to be number 5 for me. And yeah, that's why. But I'm excited either way. But that's why.
Okay, gotcha. So for me with Ahsoka, and please, I thought, for one, Rosario Dawson looked amazing as the character. She looked badass. I love the opening scene where she uses the lightsaber to cut a hole through the floor and then it just falls through. But for me, like I said, I am just now getting into the Star Wars fandom. I've seen 8 out of the 9 movies so far. I still need to see the one with what's his name, Jabba.
Oh, Return of the Jedi. You haven't finished that one yet.
I still need to see that one. That character Jabba just turned me so off. I had to cut the movie off because but
he's not in there long.
I got you, but I'm gonna watch it. So but I have seen some of Rebels because I did try to start Rebels before watching Mandalorian. But I didn't finish Rebels, so I'm not as well versed on Ahsoka, and like, so she's not like this character that I'm like absolutely in love with yet. So, you know, as I continue my Star Wars journey, I think, you know, I'll get there with her. But until that happens, you know, she's my number 5. But yeah, the trailer looked really good. I want to see kind of like what Thrawn looks like from the front. That'll be kind of exciting to see. And I'm actually really excited to see what this new droid is going to be about, because I actually like the droids in the Star Wars.
Which droid are you talking about?
I don't know. The one that she was talking to.
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
I believe it's the same one that David Tennant played in the Clone Wars. I believe it's the same one. I have to go back and do my homework, due diligence on that. But I believe it's the same one. He actually was like a teacher.
Okay, gotcha.
He taught younglings on a quest, and there was a quest that Ahsoka went on with some younglings.
Okay.
And it's like a 2 or 3 part episode. But anyway.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's our number 5. So number 4, who you got?
I actually have Blue Beetle.
Okay.
So
let me tell you my number 4. My number 4 is Barbie. Okay. Okay, why you got Blue Beetle 4?
Sorry about that. Sorry. Blue Beetle, I think it's because I do have some more familiarity, I guess, with the character in terms of watching Young Justice, watching Batman Brave and the Bold, and also Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes' first live action episode was on episode of Smallville in season 10.
Okay. And
I believe the storyline from that was he had just gotten scared from Core Industries, and they talked about Ted Cord. So just from going from the standpoint of history of the character, like what you were saying earlier about seeing his family, I'm happy we get to see his family, and they know. I do like that they're changing the trope from we're going to go this long time of the audience knowing the
secret identity.
The secret identity thing, like what is it in literary theater? It's dramatic irony. The dramatic irony of it is the audience knows, but the characters do not know, or some characters don't know. So it's the fact that we're pulling the people in on what they know. So I like we're happy to see that, and the potential for, since the Scarab, Jaime Scarab came from the Reach, if we're gonna go comic books and stuff, like really what they're doing, there's a chance you could see the Reach aliens and stuff like that, and opening, even bringing in Green Lanterns down the road, because that's part of the story too. That's why. But
okay, and you know, I want to also piggyback on what you're saying about Blue Beetle, since, you know, I've already said that Blue Beetle's my number 6. You have them at your number 4, so I feel like we can go ahead and talk about it a little bit more. So one thing I am excited about with the Blue Beetle is I'm excited to see if he gets rolled over into the DCU. I know that they said that was a possibility because he has no type of connection to the DCEU. And I knew that they were saying that Shazam was also a character who could have rolled over into the DCU. But they ended up putting Wonder Woman in the Shazam movie, and then it didn't perform well. So I feel like that's a wash for Shazam. But I still feel like there might be some hope for Blue Beetle. And, you know, when I was watching the trailer, and there's a scene where they show, like, at the very end, they show the previous 2 Blue Beetle uniforms. And I was thinking to myself, like, because I know a lot of people are hoping to see a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle team up in the Booster Gold show. And so I'm like, well, I want to see this character, Jaime, in the DCU, because I think it would be really great for representation. He's a fresh young character. Not as many people are well versed on him, so I feel like you could take a little bit more liberties with him. But I also know that some people want to see that Ted Kord and Blue Beetle team up because they're best friends.
Yes.
And so I was thinking to myself, you know what? Because I was thinking, how could they do it? But then I was like, you know what? Duh. Blue Beetle time travels. So he could literally, if Ted Kord has already passed away in the new Blue Beetle, he could always just go back to where Ted Kord's alive, hang out with Ted Kord, and then come back to the future and hang out and teach Jaime and be a mentor for Jaime. So I really think that there's a really good way to move Jaime into the DCU and connect him with Booster.
Also, they could bring Ted Kord, if they do time travel, bring him to the future and just let him stay.
They could, but that's a possibility too. But I kind of honestly, I do like the idea of Blue Beetle. I'm not Blue Beetle, but Booster going back and forth from the past and into the future, because then it's like you could have Blue Beetle in the 90s and the 90s aesthetic and the 90s music and the 90s fashions, and then bring them back to the present. I think that would be kind of cool. So, and another thing that I like about Blue Beetle, before I tell y'all why I chose Barbie at 4, is I am really loving that now DC at the end of their trailers is listing the comic books to read prior to the movies. I think that under the new regime, I think they are doing a great job of pushing the comic books alongside the movies and the shows. So I really like that, because at the end of the trailer it showed some Jaime comic books that you could read. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool. So you would think that Blue Beetle's my number one, the way that I keep going on about him. But anyway, so let me go on to my number 4. So my number 4 is Barbie. And so, okay, for one, I had Barbies growing up. They were all black because, my mama did not play that. But but I had my Barbies, and I loved my Barbies so much. And I would cut their hair, and, I would just, I loved it. And so, I
think that train in the background in Grease.
Yes. And if y'all hear any rain, it is raining out here today. But, I just loved it. And that gag where the Kens don't like each other. I love that everybody's a Barbie or everybody's a Ken. And I love the gag where Ken is like, yeah, I want to spend the night. And she's like, for what? I thought it was so cute.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because they don't have no, they don't have no cars.
They're Toy Story toys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I just thought that was so cute and so funny. And it looks like there's going to be some type of musical scene battle with the Kens. And I love it. They're battling over Barbie's love. And, it just looks so cute. It looks so refreshing. It looks so fun. And I'm just excited to see what they do with it. I think Margot looks great as... I think all the Barbies look good.
They do.
Yeah, not just Margot. I thought all the Barbies looked good.
I love the fact that they all just said, hey Barbie, hey Barbie, hey Barbie.
Hey Barbie.
And the fact that they all have their own personalities.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like I loved it because there was a Barbie for every girl. Whichever Barbie you connect with, that's your Barbie. And I love that. So, Barbie is my number 4. And like I said earlier, I think Barbie is an icon. Barbie is an icon.
She's a worldwide icon. Like, regardless of whatever language you speak, you recognize Barbie.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going to number 3. So my number 3 was Indiana Jones.
We actually tied.
Yes.
We tied for number 3.
Okay, cool. So what about the Indiana Jones movie has it so in your top half?
So, just like Star Wars, grew up watching Indiana Jones movies. Don't talk about Indiana Jones as much, so here we go. Just watching them and getting the knowledge from my family, how they ordered to actually watch 1 or 2, and then just seeing how Indy's character has evolved. Harrison Ford playing the main character this entire time. It's fantastic. It's like I would say the ultimate adventure we're going to go do this thing, and it fits in a world of reality of our world, and it takes place in the 40s. Like, all of them take place in the 40s, and the fact that we're looking at this last trailer and the Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and Harrison Ford looks like he's never aged. I know they did the de-aging thing on him, but it looks fine. It looks fantastic. Any chance we get to have more John Williams music, because maybe he came out of retirement to do this, it's great. I love John Williams scores and orchestras and all that stuff. But just to see where they're going to go with this being his last hurrah, it's his last movie as Indiana Jones. We do have Shia LaBeouf played his son, I think, in the fourth one. Down in the trailer, we're seeing his goddaughter. So the question that my mom has is, where is Andy's wife? Because we actually haven't seen her. And that was what I was telling you. I had the question, which was, in looking at these two trailers that we've seen, where is the wife? So that was the main question, because we haven't seen her.
Okay, so for me, I'm actually shocked that Indiana Jones is so high on my list, because I don't actually have that much of a connection to Indiana Jones. I honestly don't even recall if I've even seen Indiana Jones. I think I have, but I don't want to lie.
Okay.
But it was something about watching that trailer and knowing it's the last Indiana Jones, even if I respect it. You get what I'm saying? I now, even though I haven't seen the movies, I'm not as connected to it like that. I recognize the theme song, and I think for me, when his theme song started playing, and it was on that woohoo, when they were adding that to it, I think for me, that's when the trailer just ramped up, and I just was getting excited. I was like, oh, this looks amazing. Like, this looks like a great farewell to the character if this is the last movie. Like I said, it's an iconic character, and I don't know, I'm just kind of excited to see how this goes, because I remember when they announced he was doing the movie, and I was nervous, because I know he's like, what, around 80? So I was nervous, because I was like, oh my God, like, I hope he doesn't get hurt. And so I don't know, it was just something about that, when that theme song hit, it almost gave me goosebumps. I was like, this is going to be special. That's how I felt watching this trailer, that this was going to be special. So, before the movie comes out, I'll probably watch the other movies, just so I kind of, have a little bit more knowledge. Because, like, you're saying you want to know where the wife was. I didn't even know there was a wife in question. So, but I'm excited to see it, though. Because
when you look at the opening scene of the new trailer, everything's a mess. It's like, ooh, something happened. And that was a takeaway my mom and I got watching it yesterday when the trailer dropped. It's like, yeah, what happened?
Right.
So that's why.
Okay. So who is your number 2?
My number 2 is Secret Invasion.
Same.
Okay.
So let's get into it. Okay. I mentioned it earlier when I was saying why I had to put Blue Beetle at number 6. Secret Invasion is part of a larger story, the MCU. Secret Invasion is an iconic comic book story. Everybody knows about the Skrulls. Everybody, when they said they were bringing in the Skrulls, this is what people were waiting for.
Yes.
And so when we got the Skrulls and Captain Marvel and they were good, everybody was like, what is going on? Like, yeah. And I wasn't upset about it, because, I mean, there's good and bad in every race. So, hey, some of the Skrulls are good, some of them are bad. I like the fact that they don't just make all the Skrulls bad. So,
even though that's what it seemed like every time we saw Skrulls, that's all I believe that we saw.
Right. And I can understand why it would be painted that way, because, I mean, these are people who shapeshift to look like you and take over your life. So it's kind of like, how could these people be good? But like I said, it's part of a greater story, so that is automatically going to put it a little higher for me. Then we got Samuel Jackson coming back as Nick Fury. We ain't seen this. Like, when's the last movie that we've seen with Nick Fury, like, anchoring a movie? It's been a while. And I feel like we've missed it. That's been part of what's missing, too. We haven't seen him in a while.
I think I'm pausing for dramatic effect because it's raining. But but I think the last time he was like really, like heavily involved in the plot.
Yeah.
Does Spider-Man No Way Home count?
Spider-Man No Way Home.
He was.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's been
because that he was a Skrull.
Yeah,
that was a Skrull Nick Fury.
Yeah.
But I think the last time he really was involved in the movie, like the plot, going from A to B to C and so on, was Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Wow. It has no. It hasn't been that long, has it?
I think because isn't that the one where he got injured? We thought he died.
Yeah.
And then
so he was in Captain Marvel.
But that's set in 95.
Okay.
That was set in the 90s.
Well,
because then Winter Soldier and stuff was set in the 2000s. So Winter Soldier, because then they thought he died. We saw his grave marker.
So, well...
And then he went off into the world, and then...
Well, all I know is I feel like Nick Fury has been missed in these movies.
Yes.
I felt like he was that connector. He was the person that brought everybody together. He was the person who kind of caught everybody up, basically let you know what the mission was. And I feel like it's great to see Samuel Jackson back in that role. He's great in that role. I'm excited to see. I mean, what's his name? The guy who's playing the Super Skrull. Ben Adair, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that is his name. I know you're looking it up right now.
He looked amazing. And I'm just excited. And you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited to see serious Marvel again. No jokes. No. I'm just ready for it to get back to being serious. Like, give me back the Winter Soldier, the Black Panther vibes. I mean, even Iron Man is more serious, in my opinion. I'm tired of jokey MCU. Every character is not a comedian.
Because they can have comical moments, but
right.
They don't have to run the entire movie.
Right.
I mean, I think the other connector character we had was Agent Coulson.
Yeah. Yep.
Because even when Nick Fury wasn't always there, we had Phil Coulson around. And then, so it seemed like Phil and then Nick would swap places, and then you would have Maria Hill to balance out kind of like your trinity, if you will.
Yeah, and so I'm like, just seeing the serious tone of that trailer, it was such a breath of fresh air, and I felt like I was getting old school Marvel, and I was just like, Lord, thank you. Like, this is what I've been asking for. Like, I just want it. It just seems like there's stakes. It seems like there are stakes in this trailer.
So, I agreed.
Yeah.
And I will say, back to the point about, the Skrulls and being mean and things of that nature. I started watching some of Comics Explained, and them doing the history of Secret Invasion, his breakdown. And I'm glad I did, because I know just reading the main parts of Secret Invasion, you don't get the full story. You don't get all the background. You just get, here's Secret Invasion 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're done. But he said the reason that the Skrulls invaded is because the Illuminati, of Iron Man, Black Panther, and Mr. Fantastic, Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, they went to Skrullos and told them, leave Earth alone or else. And then the Skrulls were like, okay.
Or else.
And honestly, and not knowing that, I was like, oh, this is good. So I want to know what was the threat that made them come over. Because from all we've seen, like we mentioned in Captain Marvel, we've seen the good Skrulls. And even with them showing up in the last episode of WandaVision, we had that one woman who came to Monica and said, you know, someone wants to see you, and she changed into a scroll. Then we had the one who was Talos, who was
impersonating Nick.
Right. So I even think that you know, when Nick got injured in Winter Soldier, I think at that point that was Talos.
Gotcha.
Because it's like he got really injured.
Yeah.
And then they finally like, how'd you heal? And he's like, I'm me.
Gotcha.
And we all went with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, still, it's like, But he's just there like, what took y'all so long to find me?
Right.
So I think if they may bring that up and say, yes, this was Talos, this impersonating Nick Fury, because we have to keep appearances going.
Right.
So Nick is playing the long game going forward. So I don't know how many episodes we're going to get. I don't even know when this takes place in the timeline.
Right. And you know what I'm excited for, too, about this? And it was something that I mentioned to you briefly, even though we didn't really go over, like, what order we were putting things in and why we're choosing, like, which trailers. But when I saw the part where you see all the pods where the bodies are of the people they replaced, I was like, there's so much they can do with this. Like, there could literally be a pod with Black Widow. Like, Black Widow could easily have been replaced by a Skrull, and that's who died instead of Natasha. Or we could have a body of Tony Stark. Because, you know, people have been kind of like, oh, you know, I wish they would bring back Tony. I wish that, you know, they wish they would bring back some of the OG Avengers. And, like, and, you know, I don't like where, you know, you kill a character and then just bring them back. I don't like doing that a lot. I think it cheapens it. But if you were going to bring back some characters, you could easily say they have been replaced by a Skrull and their bodies are in that pod. And I know we're going to probably see some Avengers or superheroes in them pods. And I'm just so excited to see who has been a Skrull this whole time and who hasn't.
I know that we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they explained how Coulson was brought back to life and through the Kree technology that they had, and I know they did that, but it would be nice to see a Phil Coulson. Like, I know they explained it, but just we're going off what you said.
Yeah, anybody can be in that pod. I mean, literally, Jane Foster could be in one of them.
Yes.
Natasha, Tony, Quicksilver.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. You never know how long this has been going on, and you don't know who is a Skrull and who's not. And so I'm just excited.
And this also gives back to energy about that back to that TV show Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes. Which I love that show because it predates MCU. Or actually, it came out during the time, but it was not tied to MCU. So at the end of the first season, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the show, it's been out for 13 years. But the end of the first season, which largely dealt with, you know, Loki versus the Avengers. So Captain America comes home, he's home, and then out of the shadows walks another Captain America and he shoots him, and he changes to a Skrull. And I forgot what the conversation was, but it was like, we're doing Secret Invasion. And then having to watch that and have to wait for the next season to just come out later. And it was like, okay, we're doing this. And it was like, you know, you had to wait in real time. This was no streaming service like we have now. You had to wait for time. But season 2 started out with Doctor Doom, and he kidnapped Sue Richards. And we didn't know, why is he kidnapping Sue? And the whole point is he wanted to confirm his suspicions, which was he studied her body and realized she's a Skrull.
Gotcha.
And that was how they gradually did it. And then I won't say who the Skrull Queen was as compared to the comics for those who want to watch the show, but they changed it.
Gotcha.
So I would think this time around they're going to change who the Skrull Queen is as a hero. Yeah. Because they did the comics. You know who it is in the comics?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Spoiler alert.
For the comics.
So for the comics, it was Jessica Drew.
Yes.
And that was Spider-Woman. Because of everything with Sony and Marvel, I think they probably will change it as well. Because I feel like, isn't Jessica Drew supposed to be getting a TV show on Amazon Prime?
Probably.
Okay. So, I think Spider-Woman is supposed to be getting a show. So, I can't see them,
doing that again.
Yeah, I can't see it being Jessica. Even though that would be cool to be able to bring in another spider. Because I'm into different spiders showing up.
Well,
I'm tired of Peter.
Same. Not tired of Peter, but same. I'm tired for more.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. We'll talk about the show then. In the show, it was Mockingbird.
Okay.
So, because it was like, well, I know they're going to do the same. So, it was Bobby Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always around Nick Fury the whole time. And then it was like, oh, you're the Skrull. You're the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a nice, like, she was just there the entire time.
Gotcha.
So,
and they could still do that. I mean,
they could, but
hello.
I don't think
we found out that Hawkeye's wife is Mockingbird in Hawkeye.
But the question is, does that negate Mockingbird being an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., a whole different person?
I think it does.
Okay.
But that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. So
our number ones.
Number one for me, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Ahsoka.
I knew it. So,
you knew it before I even went
I was
into
just
it.
like, his number one's gonna be Ahsoka. Okay, so for me, I love the first one. I saw the first one in theaters in IMAX. And my mom went with me to see it. And so my mom's not into, comic books and stuff like that. But, she'll go and support stuff with me. So we went and saw it together. And she actually liked it. And so I just remember the artwork, the animation, the newness and the uniqueness of it. I just fell in love with that movie. And, and I was wondering, what were they going to do for the next movie? Because you've done introduced a new style of animation. So what are you going to do? And they, to me, have upped the game again. And I thought the animation in this trailer looked beautiful. I thought the storyline looked strong. I know we talked about in Blue Beetle, his family knows what's going on. And this one, you have a lot of conflict arising because his family doesn't know what's going on. And so they're concerned, rightfully so. And so I want to see how that plays out with, his parents. It seems like, from what I'm gathering from the trailer, if the choice is between saving everyone or saving his parents, he's saving his parents. And so that's, I guess, creating a conflict with him and the other spiders. And so, So
we're doing the meme.
Yeah, the meme with them pointing at each other. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how this plays out. And I'm excited. I mean, not excited, but I'm wondering if something's going to happen to one of his parents. Because, they showed the tease of his dad falling from a building.
Yeah.
And he's saying he can save everyone. So I want to see, can he save everyone? Is he going to have his own Uncle Ben? And honestly, I thought that was his Uncle Aaron.
It was.
Yeah.
Because Kingpin took out the Prowler.
Yeah, so that's why, and so that did create a little confusion, because they're like, Uncle Ben is, and I'm just like, he has an Uncle Ben. It's his Uncle Aaron.
Yeah.
So it brings up that question of, if it was, you have to save everyone to sacrifice someone you loved, would you do it? And, people always want to act like they're so heroic and they would do it, but I ain't gonna say I would do it.
I mean, we're not superheroes in real life.
Right.
We think we in our minds we think we are. But we haven't been exposed to some like meteorite or something to create a Vandal Savage immortal, or having gone through the whole spider bite and had to have this. I mean, in today's world, our world we live in now in 2023. It'd be hard to be a superhero.
Yeah, it would.
Social media and all that other stuff.
Yeah, they will find out who you are immediately.
Yeah. I mean, think how quick it was for Tony to find out who Peter Parker was.
Yeah.
He was like, he just used like the street cameras and like he followed him back to his house or something. He was like, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just something about like I said, the storyline looks super strong. Yes. Super strong. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Like I said, I love the first one. I love the animation. I love how innovative the movie was. I love how it just grew on people. I love Miles as a character. I love it so much. I love it so much. So Ahsoka. Okay.
I'll come to Ahsoka in a minute. So I want to say about Miles' father falling. So in the PS4 Spider-Man game, you play as Peter Parker, and you meet Miles' dad, his officer, and well, he dies, and it's sad. So the game actually lets you play as, when you're Spider-Man, you're Peter. Then they had some side missions as Mary Jane and Miles. Miles, at that point in the story, he had not been bitten yet. So Mary Jane and Miles would actually like walk around and do things to say, hey, this person's attention, or sneak around the background while Peter did all the work. But when his father passed, the way they did the story, it was done extremely well. And then you didn't play as Miles anymore in the game because it was like he and his family were adjusting.
Right.
And at the end of the game, they actually go through the whole sequence of him getting bit by the radioactive spider, and then he just shows Peter, and he jumps to the ceiling, and then he's trying to talk, and Peter jumps to the ceiling, and that's how they reveal to each other, we have abilities. Then the sequel came out, which I'm still playing, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Gotcha.
Whereas he's the Spider-Man. Peter and Mary Jane have left New York City. So now you are protecting New York City, which I haven't actually beaten it. It's getting out for a while. And the other one was that TV show, Ultimate Spider-Man. They actually did the Spider-Verse in the cartoon show, where they actually brought a few of the different Spider people over, including Miles.
Gotcha.
So the way that we're doing it now, and this continuation of this franchise, and even acknowledging the MCU, it was a great taste with mentioning Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
And some nerd or whatever they call him.
Doctor Strange and some nerd.
That
was hilarious.
Yeah. And you know what, too? And I don't know why I didn't mention this, but seeing all the different spiders. Loved it. Spider-Punk is going to be in this. Jessica Drew. Yeah. You got Gwen again. You got Spider-Man 2099. You got the Indian version of Spider-Man. He's making a cameo. So
we're not going to get Spider-Man Noir. I don't think Nicolas Cage is
I'm
doing
really sad about that because I like that character.
Yeah.
But
that's one I want to cosplay, actually.
Yeah, that's a cool look. But yeah, all the spiders, that's got me excited. And I will say before I give it to you, if they do kill his dad after killing his uncle, I'm gonna be very upset. Like they would literally be killing like all his father figures away. Yeah. And then who's it supposed to be? Peter?
Because the Peter in that universe died.
Right.
He was taken out by Kingpin.
Right. So it's like I'm gonna be very upset if his dad passes away.
I hope they don't do that because Sony's already done that in the game. We don't do that again. Yeah,
like his uncle died in the first movie and now his dad's dead. That would be too much for me.
That's too much. I mean, this is a part 1 movie, I know, but
yeah, I wouldn't like that. But yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
How much time we got?
Okay, go ahead with Ahsoka.
Okay. I won't keep it long. Reason Ahsoka's on number 1, it's because watching all the different shows of Clone Wars, where we first see Ahsoka introduced in the Clone Wars movie, then we get the Clone Wars series, and then she had her exit in the end of season 5, because then it was the question of, did she survive Order 66 and all that other stuff, that's when the show was on Cartoon Network. And then it was canceled because of the whole the buyout with Disney and Lucasfilm. And then they introduced Star Wars Rebels. So watching Rebels after the cancellation of the Clone Wars, it's like there's a lot of room here that we don't know the answer to. But watching Rebels, it was like, okay, here's this team of people. You had Hera, Chopper, Kanan, Zeb, and Sabine, and they meet this kid named Ezra. And so slowly unfolds to like, okay, instead of it just being here's another Star Wars show, to being it's another Star Wars show, and this is fantastic. To where you had like the mission of the week, especially in the first season. And at the end of the first season, we heard about this character named Fulcrum. We kept hearing about Fulcrum, and then they showed you as that it's Ahsoka. She's an adult, and then the parallel was they cut from Ahsoka and showed Vader. And it was like, oh crap, it's the Master and the Apprentice again. Didn't think we were going to see this part. So then you go to season 2. The first episode of season 2, it was like the hour-long episode when it was on TV, first time. And then the last part of it, Vader learns that she's alive. And then it was like Vader and the Inquisitors are going after Ahsoka. So, and they eventually have their match, and then she basically goes into hiding, and we don't see her again, for story reasons, until the last episode of the series, when it jumps to time after Return of the Jedi, which is, this trailer shows some of the scenes from the last episode of Rebels, where Sabine is standing outside Ezra's house on Lothal, and we have Ahsoka's ship coming in, escorted by 2 X-Wings. It looks like it came from the screen. The only difference is she's not wearing her white cloak. So this tells me that in that last episode, we see her show up, and then we see the ship leave. We know that they're going to go find Ezra. And now, this trailer, it shows it again, and Sabine says, it's been a while. So I think they either are going to pick up from that same moment, or time has gone on from that moment to she's back again. That's what I think is happening. And then Grand Admiral Thrawn, and they did announce today who is playing Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think it's Lars Mikkelsen, I believe. I believe that's who they picked. And it's great choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lars Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Lars Mikkelsen. And it's going to be a good choice. But the last time we saw Grand Admiral Thrawn was in the last episode of Rebels, which is actually why we're looking for Ezra. Because of the Purrgil, that the space whales that can travel through hyperspace, Ezra had called them through the Force, and they carried him and Thrawn away in hyperspace, and the show ended. And that has been the biggest mystery of, like, where is Ezra? But then here comes Mandalorian season 2, when Ahsoka shows up and she fights Morgan Elizabeth and asks the question, where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? And I was like, okay, we're bringing this plot up again. It's been several years since this show's been canceled. Great. And or ended, canceled. But just now we're seeing her talking to the leader. Seems like we're talking to the leaders of the rebellion. We saw Mon Mothma, and she says, feeling in this, sensing it, the rise of power of Grand Admiral Thrawn. She said the heir to the Empire, which is the name of the Thrawn trilogy, heir to the Empire. So I was like, she said the name of the book. That's cool. And anyway, we saw the back of Thrawn. We haven't seen his face, but we've seen Sabine. And spoilers for those who have not watched Mandalorian season 3 yet, 2 episodes ago we got to see Zeb in live action. So the way I've been thinking about it, the first episode of the season we saw the Purrgil in hyperspace. We've now seen Zeb. So I was like, okay, we're bringing all the Rebels crew to live action format, so it's great. We've already seen Chopper. He had a cameo appearance in Rogue One.
Okay.
He was just like there on Rebel base in the background, and they actually said Hera's name, but now we get to see live action Hera. The only character I want to see is Hera and Kanan's son. We've only seen him for like a clip on the finale of Rebels. So that's when, like, there's a lot of groundwork here. That's why this show's my number 1, because I'm hoping, and it seems like we're going to actually get to see what happened to Ezra.
Okay.
And I know this is along that step of building the connection between episode 6 and episode 7 and the 30-year time gap. But even when Ahsoka showed back up in season 7 of Clone Wars, when Disney did the final season, we got to see how she survived Order 66, and then the connection with Rebels, and how Mandalorian now is giving us more Bo-Katan and fleshing out these characters that we've seen in animation. It's going well, and that's why this show is my number 1. And I did it in less than 10 minutes.
Nice. Okay. Okay, well, You schooled me because I didn't even go that deep into it. I just thought it looked cool, but yeah, I just thought it would be cool to come on and talk about.
That was my nerd out moment.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna apologize.
I just let you go. I ain't even got anything to say. But yeah, I thought it would be cool to come on and just talk about the trailers because I thought they were all excellent, and it made me really excited for the upcoming shows and movies that are coming out this year. And, you know, just to kind of break down what we liked about the trailers, what we're looking forward to. And yeah, so
Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching it, and thanks for coming along on the journey.
bye.